Alrighty, have we got a fun one for you today? We're not just working on the bike, we're putting go fast fun bits on it. We're going to remove the old exhaust, minus the muffler. We're replacing that with a full titanium, lightweight, catalytic converter free exhaust. We have a high flow air filter we're going to put in, remove the factory snorkel and replace that with a pre-filter. And we also have a fully tuned ECU from S motorcycles over in Australia. It's meant to give it a couple more horsepower, make it a bit nicer to ride through the rev range, and get rid of the wee stutters and leanness that it seems to have. Right, let's get the big girl up on the ramp and we can get stuck into it. Not what I'd normally do as a kosher setup, having them off the hand protectors here. So normally I'd go around these crash bars here. That's doing 90% of the work down there. This is just to balance. Right, all the new bits and pieces. So here we have the full titanium exhaust. This is incredibly light. All up, I'm guessing it's probably only about 2 kgs. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how it compares to the factory exhaust we're going to remove. I'm going to say there's quite a big weight saving there. We have the replacement crush washers. These go between your header and the block. I advise replacing these every time you remove your header pipe. So we've got 2 of them for this job. We have the high flow filter, direct replacement for what's in there. Old one out, new one in. Should help it breathe a lot better. We also have a pre-filter. This is for our snorkel removal mod we're going to do. That's just a foam filter, an oiled foam filter. It's going to collect most of our ugly debris, save it getting through to our good high flow filter, easily able to be washed, cleaned, reused. Finally, the creme de la creme, the bit that's going to bring it all together, we have the ECU. This is from the boys over at S Motorcycles in Australia. They offer a couple of options. You can either send away your ECU out of your bike, they'll reflash it to what you want, send it back, or what I've done in this instance is bought a whole new ECU from them. So this is a brand new ECU. It's been pre-flashed with the tune that I've asked for or ordered from them, and it's just plug and play. Put old one out, new one in. Right, so we're just going to remove this aftermarket protection here. Already loosened a couple of these. I put this on when I put the high fender on, just to help protect any of the rubbish flying up. Just keeps it off the headers, out of the radiator. Hopefully prevent some issues. Just remove. Corner at a time. Just going to finish uninstalling our crash bars here. Just get them right out the way. We want to take both side panels off. The far side has to come off for the ECU later in the job, but if we remove both of them, it'll allow us to get in to unplug our O2 sensors a lot easier. Off these crash bars, we'll just get everything right out the way. Well, that worked. Just stick them all along the bike nicely there. Right, so now we're going to remove the side cover. This is going to allow us access, or better access, to the wiring connections for the O2 sensors. So we just have 3 of these hex bolts up here. and then we have a Phillips screw, the sneaky one, hidden up in that wee fin, and then finally one in behind. This one's always done by rail. It's very hard to see. You're not feeling up this finger here. Unless you're going to wipe this on side stand, you can move front wheel side to side. Grab the longer one for the sneaky bolt. Right, so now we've got that loosened, we just want to get our fingers in behind. And these are all just those push-on clips. Just work your way around until you feel them finally click. And finally, we just have this little plug for the indicator. Let's pull the white tab back and release. Okay, so it's quite difficult to see, but following your wires from your O2 sensors up, you'll see one plug just in here. The other one is further up behind it. So we want to unplug them one at a time, just to make it easier. We also want to label them. You want to make sure that this same sensor is going into the same plug, i.e. the left one is going to be the left one when you plug it back in. So I'd take photos and then I would wrap a piece of tape around this and just write on it, or do something along the lines of a cable tie on the left one, something you'll remember. These are two 10mm bolts. May just be able to contort that in such a manner. May not be able to see it on camera, but we can now see the plug. Right, so as you can see, we've removed this coolant reservoir. That allows us to gain access to the plug in here. It's just a push in at the top, slide down to remove. What I'm going to do now is just grab a vivid. In fact, I'm going to just grab a wee bit of this tape. This will be more than suffice. Just a little bit of masking tape. Just rip a little bit off. And put that around there. Going to do that on the same piece, the bottom end of this plug. So long as I match the two taped pieces up, I know that plug matches that sensor. When I remove them and uninstall them out of the headers, I'm going to do them one at a time and then put them into the new headers, just so that I know left is left, right is right. Here's our second plug up in here. Same again, it's a push tab at the top. I actually use pliers for this one too. Just to grab a better grasp on the plug, push the tab in and just wiggle it free. So that's our O2 sensors disconnected. We're now going to go to the back of the bike and we're going to remove the muffler. Okay, so we have our 13mm socket here. We're just going to come in and crack our exhaust studs. It's not doing one more than the other, just backing them all off just till they start loosening up a wee bit. Give this one a bit more. We're not going to take these right off just yet. Just want to loosen them. Then we're going to go back and loosen our main exhaust hanger bolt. Remove the nut from this, but leave the bolt in it to support the weight. Once that's loose and free, we're going to come back, completely remove the nuts on the headers, and then we'll remove this bolt. Because there'll be no nut on it, we can support the exhaust under here, take that out, and then we can, in a one fluid motion, just sort of wiggle the exhaust forward, free, down and out. Okay, so my two 13mm spanners. Going to get the better ring spanner in behind onto the nut and just move it till I can feel it freeing. Right, we've got that a bit loosened, so now I'm going to get a ratchet spanner in behind that. Speed things up. Okay, 13mm ratchet on the outside here, 13mm standard on the inside. Makes the job a lot easier. See, hopefully that's loose enough now. Just do it by hand. Great, so there we go, we've got that uninstalled. So now that nut is loose. In fact, that exhaust, it's so loose, it's ready to fall down. I'm just going to push that back through, the bolt back through, let it hang on the exhaust. Come back around to my manifold bolts. I'm going to start on the far side. Right, we've got the bolts out, so now we're just going to wiggle these free. So now we have that removed, everything's unbolted. We have the one last hanger bolt. I'm just going to support the exhaust, push the bolt out with one hand. There we go, it's free. So now I can just wiggle it gently. There we go. Now we're going to remove these O2 sensors one at a time, taking note. Remove the left one, put it in what's going to be our left header. Wee bit of force on them. Nice and loose. Now you can see why we want to unplug them first, because you do have to turn the cable as you're undoing them. Try doing that inside, you're just going to turn the cable into a big knot. Okay, so now we're going to install our O2 sensors into our new header pipes. Remove the washer. Install the sensor. Just do that. Go get my big old dirty old adjustable. You don't have to go hard as on these, just a nice wee tweak like that. So that's the left hand side done. Okay, so we have the first one in. Just going to put the spring on it to retain it. This can be a bit of a arse of a job, stay. But if you have an aftermarket exhaust, chances are you'll have one of these handy dandy spring pullers, which I recommend using. I'm just going to pull that up, place that in there. Right, okay, so we've got our second header pipe here. Rinse and repeat it last time. Old bolt out. Sensor in. And just we tweak with the spanner. Slide this into its new home. And reinstall the spring. Going to remove our crush washers here. You just want to get a wee flathead screwdriver and gently work in around it. This is actually one I've loosened, but you just want to find the smallest wee gap to get the screwdriver in behind, and then just twist it, and you can see it's actually coming out fairly easily. Once you're in behind it, just give it a flick with the screwdriver and pull it out. See, there's another one, just working it out gently. You don't want to scratch the head, the port where it goes in there. So it's come out beautifully. Okay, so we have our new crush washers here. As you can see, there isn't a lot of difference in them. However, this one's developed a wee lip from where it's been pulled in against. That's why it's important to replace them each time. If you go to reinstall a new exhaust on this, or your exhaust is slightly lined up, it may crease somewhere different on the seal, then providing a gap. And that's going to cause an exhaust leak. So you get our two new crush washers here. And it's just as simple as pushing them in. In fact, they're not actually going to want to stay there all that well on their own. They'll flare out when they get compacted. Okay, so we're going for a somewhat change of plan here. We've removed one side. We're going to install one side, our left hand side here, with the full pipe. Just loosely, remember, everything's loosely. I'm just going to slide just going to have to tilt and turn everything just to get it to sort of fit where we want it. Slide that in. Now we've got that side in, we just want to put the cap over. Just insert the nut. First one. Like so. Now this seal's wanting to fall out on us pretty easily, so we're going to have to sort of just try and slide it in and the finger out the way all in one go. Feed our cable back up and through, and then we just want to hook it in here just loosely, just so that's in snug. Bit fidgety. Push our clamp up on and hold it roughly in place. One bolt and second one. So now it's all just roughly tacked into place. This still has room to move, twist, bind wherever it needs to go. I'm going to push that header back in firm like so. So now it's all mocked up, but notice the headers aren't tight. There's no pressure on anything. It's just all sort of hanging as it wants to. Come back here. I'm going to slide this back down and up into the location. Our bolt's still sitting in here from previously. So just going to thread it through, grab onto it, just feed the nut onto it so it can't go anywhere. We'll put the nut on a few turns. Once again, not doing it up tight. Right, we're going to get our old muffler, old new muffler, and just slide that back on. As per we want it. Once again, we're all just mocking this up real gently, real loosely. Put our clamp back on. Perfect, just like that. Now I like to start with the header pipes. Get them nice and tight, get them how you want them. Everything else at the back of the bike will move to suit, but you want a nice tight seal up against the block. We're not going to crank them down real hard, real fast. We're just a bit at a time, ensuring that header stays nice and lined up. The last thing you want it to do is crush in off centre. It'll break anything. Wind that one in. Just walking these in side by side. Stops it twisting and binding up as well. Starting to tighten up a bit there, which is good. That's a start, that's what we're after. That washer is going to start to crush up now, so just getting a bit more leverage on it. We don't want to overdo these either. They're meant to be firm, but not too tight. Certainly don't want to snap anything. Perfect. I'd say that's that side done. Now we're just going to replace the second spring that we pulled off. Pretty simple. Same as before, just hook it in as a keeper. Come back to here and do up our 13mm. Slide our clamp up. I like to have it sort of like that, so it's towards the swing arm, but also at the same time the thread and all of that's hidden away behind the back of it. Do that up to a nice firm pinch. Call that perfect. Now I'm just going to undo this bolt again. This is going to allow the exhaust to sort of relax into where its natural point will be. Like that. That's now supporting its own weight. So I just want to get the clamp in a nice position, like so. The shape of the clamp is matching the shape of the exhaust, so I know there's no pressure on anything there, it's just naturally hanging as it wants to. Do that back up. Okay, so now we want to just make sure our wires are rerouted roughly as to how they were earlier. They're not going to be touching the hot engine. We'll start with the hardest to reach, further away one. Line it up and they just push in, lock in place. Second one, remember this was the one with the tape, and that's going to go to our fitting with the tape. Now I'm just going to get some cable ties, cable tie these back up as sort of how they were, keep everything nice and tidy out the way. Okay, so we've got the plugs back installed. We'll just put our reservoir back in place. At this stage we're pretty much done on this side. We can reinstall this panel, we can reinstall our crash bars, our bottom plate. This is all pretty much reversal of what I've done. Right, okay, now we're going to remove the ECU. To begin with, we just have these two 10mm bolts to hold it in place. I'm going to remove them to allow us to be able to manoeuvre it around to get to the plugs a bit easier. Okay, so now we have them. You can see this is quite loose compared to what it was. I'm just going to slide it down just so we can get the access to pull this rubber boot back, like so. Then once that's back, this is a cam lock sort of a setup. So as you can see, where the screwdriver goes in, we push that in and then the cam lock's able to come up. We slide that right up. It's firm but not hard. Doesn't sound right. After that, you can just slide it out like so. There's no real way to explain how to do this other than keep turning it. Now it's just a reverse of what we did, which you won't know what you did, because I don't know what I did. Just put it in, turn it, twist it. Hope like heck you got it pointing the right way. Perfect. So everything's now just reverse. We've got our plug there. Push it in. And make sure it's in nice and tight, and then bring that cam lock down, locked in place. Just maneuver the boot back up over it, and just reinstate the screws. Now at this stage, we're all good. That's done. We can put this cover back on. We can reinstate this side's crash bars, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do my air filter mods, and then I'm going to actually start the bike and just ensure everything's running. Make sure that, you know, for some reason this plug hasn't located incorrectly and isn't allowing the bike to start or anything like that. There's no reason it shouldn't have, just a bit precautionary and saves having to pull the cover off at a later stage. Alright, next we're going to change the air filters, remove the seat, this is our snorkel setup. We're going to remove this snorkel and replace it with the pre-filter. But we'll do that once we've got the lid off the airbox and we've got it over on the workbench. It'll make it a lot easier. Very difficult with these screws to get out and not drop. Luckily, if you do, the shock is right below it, so they should just fall down into there. Just lift that up, slide and remove. There is our air filter filament. Put this over on the workbench for now, and we'll pull that old air filter filament out. So we just grab the filter element here and pull towards you. That releases it. That's your keeper, so we pull that out. That now drops our filter filament down. Alright, so investigating the two filters when I went to install it, I noticed this new one actually has a lower bead around here. It actually sits quite a bit lower, and it's being a harder rubber, it actually doesn't tuck up as nice and neat and seal as tight as you would want. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bead of silicone around the bottom of the filter here to push it up. The silicone is going to provide a bond, but it's also going to cause the filter to sit higher in this piece, meaning that it's going to be a firmer fit into the airbox itself and should hopefully remedy that issue. Yeah, one thing to be mindful, you've sort of stuffed up there, Uncle Wangs. That's not quite the right dimensions. Potentially I'd either follow suit with the modification I'm doing to the filter, or I would potentially look at buying a different aftermarket one. Good old trusty grey silicon gasket maker. Just going to run that bead along there. Alright, nothing too pretty, but it doesn't really need to be. I may add just a wee bit more in there just to tidy it up actually. Other than that, we're going to go find a nice wee spot in the sun, go let it dry. Doesn't have to go rock hard, but yeah, fairly firm. Then we'll go and reinstall it. I'll give this 24 hours to dry. The pre-filter install is going to be nice and easy. This is our snorkel piece here. We want to remove that from the top plate. These are just pushed in rubber. If you just work around, comes out pretty nice and easy. Grab our pre-filter. This one is pre-oiled. Make the process nice and easy. Got the instructions, and a sticker. I love it when we get stickers, as you can see by the toolbox. Can wear gloves for this job, it is a little bit yuck. Pretty simple. Grab the filter, we just need to feed it back into that same groove we removed the snorkel from. This oil is pretty sticky sort of stuff. There we go. Easiest thing you'll do all day. We've got our filter, we've put a bead of the old gasket sealant around here just to make it a little bit prouder. So we grab our frame, reinsert it into there. Well, this was a bit of a tight fit, but there we go, perfect. Grab our second piece and line it up in the slot like so. It just sits in there. Now it's going to be quite difficult to see on the camera, but there's two grooves in there. This just slides into, and then you push it down home. It literally just slides in there and holds in place. That's quite a nice tight fit now. Perfect. So now that's done, we reinstall the top plate, and as easy as that, we're done. Alright, it's got our air filter in there. She's snug as a bug. Let's grab our new, well, our top cover again. Just going to reinstate that. These two lugs, I should say, these two lugs slide in. It's going to be very difficult to see, but there's two lugs at the top of the airbox they slide into. This is a wee bit difficult because I have it's a charging bay for my GPS. Just where it sits is sort of on top of the airbox but in the way. So we lift that up, slide that into place, just reinsert our two screws. One. Just snug them up. And as easy as that, that's done. So now it's just a reinstallation process. We're just going to put all the bash plates back on, reinstate the seat, and unfortunately it's a bit miserable outside to go and test it, so I'll do a separate video where I review it. We'll let you know how big a difference these mods make. I suppose now for the exciting part. Let's turn it on and see what it sounds like. Fire in the hole! Nice. Alright, nice. I'll finish putting this back together. It's just the reverse of what we've done to pull it apart. Nothing too exciting. We'll film another video at a later stage once this weather clears up. We'll get out and about and see if these modifications have eliminated that snatchy throttle and just how it now handles, or feels, acceleration, if we notice any difference, how the riding of it feels. Stay tuned, we'll keep you posted.